Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm doing another recap of Phil's PC now that we know what Phil actually wants, regardless of what he needs. But we're going to recap this. Now, I first want to give a shout out to King Chad again. Tomorrow he's going to be doing a wicked stream in regards to the King of Hate forums. He's going to take a deep dive. He's going to take one for the team. Might possibly get his IP address logged because he's on King of Hate forums, and what's going to happen is he's going to just go through the forums and look at the dumbest fucking shit in history, and it's going to be a wild stream. You better be there tomorrow. I'll have him linked down in the description here. If I do not see you there, you will get gout. I'm telling you that right now. You're going to get gout. Phil knows how to do it. You have to have an aunt with gout who lives in your Connecticut condo, and you got to move to Seattle, because the Seattle air cures gout, and that's the only way you're going to get cured from gout. So if you're not there tomorrow, you're getting gout. So I better see you in Jad's chat tomorrow. That being said, let's start off here with the dumbest shit fucking possible. The PC that Phil wants. Now, this is what Phil had discussed today as he was writing everything down, not knowing what he was doing. So basically, we're going to start from the top. Phil wants an AMD Ryzen 7 5800X. 8-core, 16-thread processor. Complete fucking waste for what he wants to do. It's not going to benefit him in any way. He's not going to utilize all the cores, even especially with OBS. It just isn't going to work. Okay? Not that it's not going to work. It's just going to be way, way more powerful than what he needs. And he wants the future-proof, but again, you're not doing any high-end gaming on the PC. All you're doing is you're streaming 1080p 60. There's no reason to have a 5800X. It's just a waste of fucking money. You can save like 160 bucks, and I'll show you guys later with the two new systems that I've priced out for this. Now we're going to go with a liquid cooler, an AIO, because a 5800X is going to run hot if you're using the Prism cooler that comes with the processor. I wouldn't use the Prism cooler. It's a joke. The iQOO H150i Elite is going to be an excellent cooler for the processor. Phil's scared of liquid cooling because he's afraid it's going to damage everything. They cover the system if the cooler's been installed correctly. If it's been installed incorrectly, then yeah, you're shit out of luck. We're going to have to go now with a bigger motherboard. The reason being is you're going to want to have that power to push the processor. You're going to want a stronger VRM, a bigger VRM. So you're going to have to go with a better motherboard. You're going to have to go with an X570 rather than a B550. Sure, there are some B550 boards that do have some oomph behind them, but they're going to be way more expensive than this board. Going with the lowest end Asus I could find, does support 2.5 gigabit LAN, he's got a stronger VRM, and he has the upgradability in it. Next up is the memory. We're going to go with some G.Skill Ripjaws. Again, there's no LEDs on these. 32 gigs. The difference is about 50 bucks going from 16 gig to 32 gigs of memory. We're going with my CL16 3600. The reason why I'm choosing 3600 megahertz memory, with an AMD system, you want to keep 1-to-1 ratio for the Infinity Fabric. If you go out on a 1-to-1 ratio with the Infinity Fabric, and that's typically higher than 3600 megahertz memory on AMD Ryzen 7 5800Xs on that platform on Zen 3, you then go to 1-to-2 or 1-to-3, and that throws out performance. You do not want to do that on AMD. On Intel, you don't have that issue. The only problem with higher speed memory on Intel, like if you want to go to say 4000 megahertz or above, when you use XMP, XMP has a base set. Depending on the motherboard and on the memory controller and the processor, it may not jive properly. So you're going to want to start fiddling with voltages and timings to get it to run correctly. Otherwise, you might be in for a bad time. Now, some cuck on the fucking pre-stream recommended a Seagate Barracuda. No. Barracuda are their low-end drives. What you want is an Iron Wolf Pro. It's a helium-sealed drive, which offers higher density. It has higher cache output. Much better hard drive than getting a Seagate Barracuda that's going to run hot. It's loud as fuck. The Iron Wolves are excellent hard drives for data backup. 4 terabyte. It's a good amount. Perfect. For whatever reason, he's hard set on getting a 1 terabyte hard drive for his OS. Which again, I've explained, it's a complete fucking waste. You need a 256 gigabyte. That is it. Windows is going to take up about 18 gigs of RAM. OBS takes up what? Maybe like a couple hundred megs? Let's take a look, actually. I don't even know. Where is it? OBS Studio. It takes up 398 size on disk, 340 megs. That's it. So 18 gigs plus 340 megs, like, and you want a 1 terabyte drive for that? You're gonna waste all that money when you can get a 256 gigabyte for like half the price of this one. You're a fucking idiot, Phil. Next up, he wants his 3070 Ti, 8 gigabyte. Remember, he said he didn't want to spend like $600 on a video card. Well, $662 on a video card, Phil, that you're not going to utilize. Remember how I explained it. If he was editing, sure, the video card would be a better choice, a higher-end video card. You have more tensor cores, you have more video memory, you have higher clocks. It's going to allow you to compile your videos faster. Phil is not editing, he is just streaming. You can get away a 1030 GTX from like way back when, or a 1050 even, will do the same encoding streaming that a 3070 Ti will. And you're probably going to be paying a fraction of that cost. Again, if Phil was gaming and editing on that computer while streaming, then yes, a better video card would be more beneficial. But he is not doing that. He is just streaming at 1080p 60. He does not need this video card, and it is a complete fucking waste of money. Next up, we have the NZXT H7 Flow. Great mid-tower case, offers ample air cooling, fans placement, supports the AIO. It's perfect. Next up, we're going to go with a 1000-watt power supply, again from Corsair, the same one I priced out yesterday, or on the last video. Again, if you look at the top right here, estimated wattage 539 watts. This one offers 1000 watts. It'll probably boost to around 1200 before it trips. Don't want to do that. It's 80 plus platinum certified. It's going to run cool. It's going to be less noise. It's going to be a great power supply for this system. It also offers the expandability if you should choose to upgrade in the future. You have that extra power envelope to be able to utilize it. So when those 4090s come out next year and they require like 600 watts alone, you're covered, right? Now, again, Phil's not going to do what I had explained to do. Go to SVCD or VIP SCD key. Look at the cost currently for a Windows 11 Professional. $24.34. This is what I have on all my systems. I've got this on my mom's NUC. I have this on my notebook. I have this on my desktop. 25 bucks. Right? What's Phil going to pay because he's too stupid to realize to use that? He's going to pay 160 bucks for an OEM copy of Windows 11 Pro. Why Windows 11 Pro? Better networking. If you know what you're doing with the networking. You have things like BitLocker, which are supported. Otherwise, in a home version, you don't have BitLocker. You actually have to pay extra for that if you want to use it. Windows 11 Pro, I've always used professional versions of Windows. Windows NT, way back when, Windows 2000 Pro. I've used those things because it's just a better operating system. Now, how much is this going to cost Phil? With the Elgato capture card, which I have right here. So this is the Elgato capture card Phil's going to have to go with, right? Why? Because it offers that pass-through in and out. Okay, this is going to do the heavy lifting when it comes to Phil's capturing. Does 4K HDR10 footage, right? Enjoy 240 hertz pass-through dual PC setup. That's for 1080p. Phil's never going to utilize a 260 hertz or 240 hertz because he's an idiot. But this is the 4K capture card Phil's going to have to go with. This total cost for this system before tax is $2,900. With tax is going to be well over $3,000. Okay. Next up, let's look at the Midler system. Now, this is the one that I had put into my prior video, but I've made a couple changes to bring the price down by about $400. Still going with the AMD Ryzen 5 5500, 6-core, 12 threads, excellent processor. It's going to be a lot cheaper, almost half the cost of what Phil's going to pay for the 5800X. It's going to offer the exact same performance that he's looking for his streaming setup. As you can see, we're not going with the AIO cooler. We're going to use the Prism cooler. The processor may run a little bit hotter. It's not going to affect performance for Phil, though. Although that room does get pretty hot because of all the stupidity. We'll look at that here in a little bit. We're going with the B550 Plus motherboard again. Excellent motherboard for this processor. It offers ample power, has 2.5 gigabit LAN if Phil finally fucking clues in and upgrades his internet, which we will discuss shortly. Going with 16 gigabytes of the same memory as a 32 gigabytes, just 16 gigabyte variant. Again, it's $50 cheaper. This is going to be a better purchase for Phil. He could save that $50. He could treat his horse to a nice meal out at a restaurant. How about that, Phil? We're going to go with the Samsung 980 Pro 250 gigabyte. A more better choice for a OS drive, right? Again, 18 gigabytes for Windows, 340 megabytes for OBS. Can't go wrong with that. We're going to go with a 2 terabyte instead of a 4 terabyte Iron Wolf. It is going to be a little bit more expensive, but he's also going to have the speed of the SSD as opposed to the slower speed on the Iron Wolf. Again, the SSD is still going to outperform the Iron Wolf. It's going to use less power. It's going to be less noise. Much more better for Phil. Again, I'd recommend a NAS drive for redundancy and for backup. But again, that's going to be around $700, $750. We're going to go with a lower end video card, 3050, 8 gigabyte. Again, it's overkill for what Phil is going to need it for. He's not editing. He's only streaming. If he wants to play Fightcade, which he won't, because he's going to get his ass kicked by pros. I know he talked about it today, about how the rollback netcode. Got news for you, Phil. I actually do have news for you, Phil. Fightcade does not use GGP, or does not use a rollback netcode. It uses GGPO. Completely different netcode. I'll be doing a video on that possibly Sunday. And that'll explain everything between 30th anniversary, Capcom Fighting Collection, and Fightcade. There's going to be a surprise in that video too, so stay tuned. We're going to go with the smaller case, NZXT H510 Flow. Still a good airflow case. It's going to offer ample enough cooling for Phil, even though that room is a fucking blast furnace because of all the shit. We're going to go with a smaller power supply. Still 80 plus platinum rated, but we're going to go with an 850 watt this time. Again, if you look at top right, Phil's power limit, 300 watts. Again, you throw in the Elgato capture card, and you get the VIP CD key, Windows 11 Pro. This is going to cost Phil $1,486.39, so it's below $1,500. It's an excellent system for streaming. It's still overkill for what Phil wants to do. It'll do 4K 60 FPS, no problem. Only if your internet supports it, Phil, which yours does not, and that's why you don't want to do 4K 60, because you know your internet is shit. Next up, last bit of PC thing. This is what I thought about when I was on my way home from work today. We're going to start off with an AMD Ryzen 5 5600G. It's a faster processor, but it has an integrated graphics which will allow for AMD hardware encoding. That way Phil can save money by not purchasing a video card. This processor is 6 cores, 12 threads. It is an excellent processor for streaming if all you're going to be doing on that system is streaming. You don't need anything more powerful than this. You can even go below this still, to like a prior gen. It'll offer the same amount of performance for Phil's streaming as the 5800X. It's not going to be any different. We're going to go with the same motherboard as before. Again, 2.5 gigabit LAN, offers enough power for Phil. We're going to go with the same 16 gigabyte of memory. There's no reason not to. Again, CL16, good timings, good price. We'll go with the same hard drive setup as before. No reason not to. We're using the same case as before as well. Good airflow. But now we're using a small form factor power supply. We're going with the 600 watt, 80 plus platinum certified again. Reason being, top right, Phil's power voltage is only at 170 watts. Again, you toss in the Elgato, you get the VIP SCD key Windows 11 Pro, $1,179.94. $1,200 for an excellent streaming setup for Phil. Won't break the bank of those pay cucks that are going to be giving him this money for this piece of shit system. But we need to look into the big issue in the room. What does Phil want for a camera? Yesterday, Phil was told about the camera Maximilian uses. Now, let's bring it up here. Open it here. He wants the Sony A7 III, but he wants the lens option. So look at the price of this fucking camera. $2,500 for the lens option. Now, there's a reason why Maximilian has this camera. He doesn't just use this camera to stream. Maximilian uses this because Maximilian actually goes outside and gets some sun. You know what Phil lacks? That vitamin D. Phil looks like a ghoul. Phil wants the studio lighting. That's going to set him back another $1,500 for that studio lighting with the diffuser. And he wants this camera. This system, what Phil wants, is going to set him back about $7,500 to stream at 1080p 60 with a professional camera. Phil doesn't need this professional camera. Okay? Because he's never going to utilize it. Yeah, I know he said he was going to walk around the house with the camera and record Jasper and shit. Big fucking whoop, Phil. Big fucking whoop. Do that on your phone. Okay? Your phone is perfectly capable of 1080p 60. Go stretch your legs. Maximilian is way more professional. Maximilian is an awesome content creator, alright? Phil is not a professional content creator, regardless of his 13 to 14 year history. Phil has done the exact same shit day in, day out of begging for money, putting in no effort, getting out of bed at 10:30 in the morning in his fucking Sonic pajamas, getting on stream, hitting start stream, start recording, and then begging for money. Maximilian does not do that. Maximilian has a life, possibly a family, I don't know. I have never watched a lot of Maximilian stuff, maybe I should. There's a reason why professional streamers use this camera. One, they can afford it, which Phil cannot. Two, they have possibly given it to them as a sponsorship. It's a beautiful camera, yes. Is Phil going to utilize this camera? No, it's a complete waste of money. What does Phil need? This is Logitech 4K Pro Webcam, or a Brio, as Logitech also provides. Same price. This offers 4K 60, 1080p 60, HDR range. Have you guys noticed how when Phil goes up and he measures his penis there right up to his camera, where it's like the lens is this small? The lens isn't what you're looking for, Phil. The lens is only part of the camera component. You're looking at the lens, the iris, and the imaging sensor. The imaging sensor and the iris do most of the heavy lifting, whereas the lens allows for zoom and light to pass through. The iris also allows for light to pass through, similar to the human eye. Okay? This is all Phil needs. $250. If he wants to spend that, I would recommend looking at something between $150 and $250, but nothing more than that. Phil could be using his own phone as well, and it would be probably just as good as the camera that he has. It's not going to magically increase Phil's image quality. If Phil got all this lighting and everything, you know how much more of a ghoul he would look like, how white he would look, with those hot lamps beating down on him. It would look horrible as fuck. But that's what he wants, because he just wants to spend, and have those bragging rights that he's a professional streamer sitting in his condo, never leaving. Why the fuck am I doing this? Now, we're also going to talk into this. Phil doesn't think he's going to need a switch. Phil is definitely going to need a fucking switch. Okay? Now, the reason why he's going to need a switch is he's constantly going to have to get up, unplug the HDMI cable from the PS5 into the Xbox or into the Switch. That's a given. He's going to have to do that if he doesn't get a Switch. He does that currently right now, especially with the Ethernet cable. We'll get into that in a little bit as well. Now, I'm going to bring something up here. This I was going to save for the Cassaday Goat video, but I don't know if I'm going to do the Cassaday Goat video anymore because it's getting really, really big. It's very long. Like, I'm Steve of the Dead length on that video. So, without further ado, this is Sweet Home 3D. What did I do? I went ahead and I remade Phil's streaming room in Sweet Home 3D. Reimagining what Phil's streaming room should be set up like. Okay? Now we're also going to take a look at a video here really quick. Now, this is Phil's condo walkthrough.
Very quickly, I'll walk through here, guys.
Okay, so as Phil walks in the room, you can see where he sits currently. Okay, he no longer has the fucking love seat in there. He's got his chair. So Phil actually sits in the doorway of the streaming room. There's that closet that he's going to be coming out of the closet here at the end of the month. I don't know if I'm going to replay that. That's going to be a fucking chore. Maybe. I don't know.
Very quickly, I'll walk through here, guys. You've already seen a tour of this office. It is a mess.
Look at how fucking poor this office is set up. Look at the cables everywhere, right? Just a garbage fucking pigsty. He's got his little TV tray there with his notebook on it. Now it has his fucking... Now his notebook's off to the left. So you can always see where Phil is looking when he's doing those lean-in manual bands, right? Look at how bad this setup is, okay?
As you can see, right here you've got my ottomans, which is inside of the ottoman is a bunch of joysticks for Street Fighter, all the controllers and odds and ends, the current game I'm playing, my phone, my headphones that I use during my playthroughs. Okay, there's my TV setup, all the consoles and everything.
Okay, so this is the setup when he first moved into the condo in 2014. As you can see, the mess that is there. Fast forward to yesterday. Actually, I have this in Discord on Meerkats. He's got that new TV that supposedly was donated by a fan. This is the TCL Series 4, which is a piece of garbage, like I've discussed before. Phil can claim all he wants. It's got HDR, but it only supports a peak brightness of 256 nits, which is not enough for even HDR 400. Now, look at the wiring right now. Look at that. In there. Compare it
Leaned at an angle. This is
to before. Do you realize the mess that's probably in this fucking office now? And let's just do a quick closet walkthrough.
literally how where I could see there's the mess. Because
here we go.
double doors. There's my old PC, that old piece of crap.
Now, that old piece of crap had absolutely nothing wrong with it. The theory is one of the RAM sticks was dead when it came to Phil after those fans had built it for him. Or one of the RAM sticks may have just fallen out and all Phil had to do was reseat the memory and that computer would have been fine. Instead, Phil went and dropped another $3,000 on that CyberPower PC.
Tons of boxes. Just take a look. I don't even need to say anything. I'm just going to show you the boxes.
Now, this is something that I've always questioned here. This Netgear box. Phil doesn't have a Netgear modem, so this is either a router or a switch, but Phil doesn't use it for some fucking reason. And we'll get into that here in a little bit over the upgrading his network that I want to do here today on the stream.
There's my hat for Ask the King. Speakers, portable Blu-ray player. Look at this. Bins, old office shit that I haven't unpacked yet. Boxes.
Now, these bins are all full of those statues that Phil had in Connecticut. Okay? Phil lied when he said he got rid of them. He didn't. Okay? There was no way he was going to throw all those away. He was begging for people to buy them when he was moving and nobody wanted to buy them. So as you can see how messy this fucking closet is already. This closet is a complete fucking pigsty. Can you imagine over the 8 years the amount of shit that is accumulated in this closet? Like, that's going to be an interesting fucking stream to see how much money Phil has wasted over the years.
And bins, you might be saying to yourself, what is this right here? This boxing room and around my old place in Connecticut. Eventually I may. Alright, so going through here, I'll move this back. So now I can actually squeeze by this way.
So imagine, like, just think of the stream room that Phil's in. Right? It's a piece of shit. It is set up so poorly.
You can hear it. That's how loud it is. There's no way for me to lower the fans. There's no way for me to soundproof that.
Now, do you know why Phil's system is so loud? Because the heat in that office. Remember, Phil never turns anything off. That TV stays on. His consoles are on. He may put one or two to sleep. That computer never gets shut off. He's got his OPS in there. You wonder why that office, why he complains about the temperature. Because it's such a fucking pigsty. There's no airflow in it.
Because it needs the ventilation, it's just going to be that loud no matter what. And if you hear ambient noise in my microphone when I do playthroughs now, that's where you're hearing it from. My webcam, my various equipment over here. I'll take a step back. That's the spare PC, the AC.
Okay, now I've touched base on this in one of my prior videos. This is the computer that nobody knows about. So he has a spare PC. So he's got a supposed broken one in his closet. CyberPower PCs to the left. He's got the Asus one here. He has 2 notebooks, 2 tablets, and his phone. This Asus PC, I would love to figure out what it is, but I can't make anything out from it. So, by the time Phil gets this new computer, he's going to have 4 computers, 2 notebooks, 2 tablets, and his phone.
That I can do video editing on. That's my printer. That is a universal power.
Video editing, which Phil does not do. Okay? So we've looked at this stream room. You guys see how messy it is. Let's go back to Sweet Home 3D. So, here's my reimagining. You walk in through the door, and instead of the closet full of trash, that's where the computer is. It's out of the way. It's not in the middle of the fucking room with all the cables running everywhere. It is set up perfect. As you walk into the room, there's Pet Squirrel. The TV is wall mounted with the console unit underneath. This gets it off the floor on the wall at eye level instead of Phil sitting there in his chair and looking downwards. I've put in 2 bookshelves for him where he can store all his garbage. I've put in even a surround sound system for him there. There's Prince Jasper just chilling on the rug. Right? He's got his 3 consoles all neatly packed. Right on the console. Not fucking strewn on the floor or whatever sitting that Phil can step on and trip over. There's that window. With the aircon unit mounted on the ceiling. Not just sitting in the fucking windowsill. Why Phil wouldn't do this with some nice blackout curtains over there? Set up excellent, so Phil doesn't have to complain about it. Now, I've put the love seat back in. Everything is fucking, look at this, I even got gin bottle. Look at that. There's a gin bottle on. There's notebooks there on a nice glass coffee table for him. He's got his headsets, he's got his controllers, he's got his tablet, he's got his phone. We've got some lights here. A picture of Mount Rainier in the background, right? Now, on the wall here, Phil can mount the camera onto his TV. Right? That 4K webcam will mount onto the top of the TV. So you can have Phil just sitting across the room here. Phil could have moonlighting. He could have his green screen back there. He could have whatever, right? Decorations, you know, dildos or whatever from Cat. You could put all that stuff there too. Much better setup. And Phil is next to the window, so he'll get the cool air coming through. It opens up the room. It cleans up all the cables. And I even put in a little beer fridge. Look at this setup. This is perfect. This is the way Phil should have a stream. Now, what we're going to look at next, we're going to go back. We're going to take a look at the HDMI setup. Now, again, Phil's going to need that switch, no matter what, that split. You can have all his consoles plugged in all at once. This is remote controlled, so he doesn't even have to get up to change it. You just hit HDMI 1, and then it goes to his computer. Now, I've priced out a couple cables here for him. These are just 6-foot HDMI 2.1 cables from Philips. Same cables I use in my setup for my home theater. I've got my Apple TV, my cable box, and my Blu-ray player. They're $20 a cable. These cables work excellent. I have never had issues with HDMI dropout or HDCP handshake whatsoever. These cables work great, and they're also certified HDMI standard, which is excellent. Now, going back to Sweet Home 3D, so these cables would be plugged into Phil's Jasper. So this would plug in here, right? These would all go in. He could have his switch there in one of the cubbies. Plugs into that switch, and then the switch would then use, back up, a 10-foot HDMI cable that goes to his PC into the Elgato card. This again, it's the same cable as the 6-footers. It offers HDMI 2.1 speeds. It's inexpensive. It's only $1 more for 10 feet. Now, again, once you start going over 6 feet of HDMI cable, don't listen to Phil. It's not about image quality. It's about signal strength. An Xbox and a PS5 are powered HDMI ports, so they should provide enough power for it to power the cable. What I'm also pricing out is going back from Phil's PC to the TV is the AOC cable. This is your fiber HDMI, which is an active cable, meaning that it's powered and it will boost the speed of the signal. Now again, I use a 75-footer that goes from my PC through my ceiling to my home theater receiver. Out of my home theater receiver, I have this cable that goes to my projector. Again, I haven't had issues with HDCP handshake, and I haven't had issues with HDMI dropout. Once again, you go over 6 feet. It depends on all your hardware combined. If you have issues with HDCP handshake or HDMI dropout, my recommendation is that you go from HDMI over Ethernet. What that is a little, you'll buy a kit, 2 little boxes. Each box is powered. An HDMI cable plugs into one end. Ethernet cable, Cat 8, comes out the other end. You can run that like 100 feet for all you care. It's not going to cause an issue. It then plugs into the other box, which is again powered, and then the HDMI cable plugs into your TV or receiver. It's powered. It pushes that signal through. You will not have an issue with HDCP handshake or HDMI dropout. If you're having that issue, that is what I suggest. If you want to hit me up on Discord or email me, whatever, go right ahead. I'll give you a good recommendation on what you should buy. Now, again, with the AOC cable though, you don't want to kink them because they're fiber, they're glass. Right? What's good about these cables is Phil can get like a wire hider and run it along the bottom of the baseboards, right? All the way to the computer here. So the cables are nicely hitting. He's not going to have all those cables, all that mess that's sitting in the fucking office that it is now. It will just look cleaner. So as you can see here, if you look up top here, towards the left where my cursor is, this is to scale for Phil's room. How did I get this scale to Phil's room? Let's just say Phil's home is available on all retail or all realty sites in the United States. If you know what you're looking for, and because Phil doxed himself, we do. Now, what we're going to look at next, and possibly lastly, is upgrading Phil's network, because that's one thing Phil has not discussed yet. Phil's crux, like I said in the other video, is his internet line. Now, Phil is using an aged fucking Eris modem. DOCSIS 3.0 compliant, doesn't support speeds of higher than 383 megabits per second, right? So he's limited at this point. He cannot upgrade his internet without upgrading his modem. Now he has an option. He can purchase a Netgear modem, which is supported on Comcast's service. This is an excellent modem. Supports up to speeds of 2.5 gigabit because it's DOCSIS 3.1 compatible. The only downside is that this modem does not support Wi-Fi. So Phil would have to purchase a Wi-Fi router. Phil hates Wi-Fi, so says he doesn't use Wi-Fi. I call Shens on that because we've seen before that he's played his PS5 on Wi-Fi. This is an excellent modem to purchase. Alongside this, you can then purchase like a Netgear Nighthawk right here at the bottom, right, for $300. AX 6600 router. There are better. My preference is to go with ASUS. I would love to get the latest ASUS router because it supports 2.5 gigabit WAN and LAN at the same time. Because I have a 1.5 gigabit connection, I need that. If it's wireless, it's not going to matter then. 2.5 gigabit WAN will be perfect. It gets you that wireless signal if you're using AX or AXE. Now, what Phil should do is purchase a Netgear switch. I love Netgear switches. This is what I use in the office at work. I don't have one at home because I don't have enough devices to plug in. $70, 8-port switch, max 1 gigabit. It's unmanaged, so all Phil has to do is plug this in, plug it into his modem, and then purchase the following. These are your Cat 8 cables from Monoprice. This is what you guys in the United States would be using. We would buy in Canada Prime cables. Get them all the way up to 50 feet. Phil ain't gonna need 50 feet. All Phil needs is 3 3-footers. Plug them into his consoles here. Right? Because he can have the modem sitting here as well. Then he can purchase a 10-foot cable. $7.99, $1 more, and run that to his PC. Or he can run a second cable to his notebook. And therefore, he's not using Wi-Fi, he's not going to have Wi-Fi interference. But again, Phil is going to have to upgrade his internet, right? Looking at Phil's internet line right now, we know what Phil has. He's probably running a 300 megabit down, 10 megabits up, which is incapable of streaming 4K. Yes, he can watch 4K movies, he just can't output 4K movies. Come on, Comcast. Fucking slow ass site. Okay, so we're under internet here. This is what's currently available in Phil's area. 1200 megabits, but Phil cannot do the 50 megabits up. If you put in Phil's address and try to do it, it only comes up with 1235. That is all that's available. So 1200 megabits down, 35 megabits up, which Phil can then use to do 4K streaming. This will also increase the image quality because he won't be fucking pixelating because he's buffering. So, like, Phil thinks this new PC is magically going to improve the quality of his streams. It's not. His internet is going to bog this all down still. And we knew this from the beginning. Okay? That's not going to change. Again, they'll give you this X5. This is the same modem that I have here. This is what's provided to a lot of the ISPs in North America. We overpay for our prices of internet. And again, this is only going to cost Phil... If he wants unlimited data, it's going to cost Phil about $140 a month, as opposed to the $400 he's currently paying for 2 lines. And this is all Phil needs for his internet. This computer is not going to save the stream. I'm going to tell you that right now. This computer, if Phil gets this, like this $3,000 plus computer, he's going to be sorely disappointed when he plugs the camera in and be like, well, it's not that much better. Like, Phil, give your fucking head a shake. This is getting ridiculous. You need to sit back and reevaluate your life choices. Okay? You have no money. You're screaming poor constantly. You need money for your day off. Okay? You cannot afford a computer right now. Regardless if somebody's going to donate it to you, which is pig Latin for fucking, oh, I'm going to buy this computer with your guys' tips. He's going to do a fundraiser, right? He wants to do this fundraiser, which he can't do because he needs YouTube TOS, he's not a charity. Phil, listen to reason. Watch my video. Do what I'm recommending you to do. Save that money. Clean out your computer that you currently have. If you have to replace a hard drive, again, look at this. $230, Phil, as opposed to $3,200. You can easily replace the hard drives in your system. And you're back up and running. Install Windows 10, upgrade your internet line, bang, you're good to go. Save that money, put it towards a 401k, because I know you don't have a fucking retirement plan, and you're just waiting on your parents to so you can get their inheritance. Which you're going to have to fight Melissa for. So, good game on that one, Phil. I want to thank you guys for watching. I got a little heated here again because I have to deal with tism. I feel like I've got the tism on me. I feel like I'm getting retarded having to deal with Phil's bullshit. So again, tomorrow, make sure I want to see you guys on King Jad's stream. It's going to be litty. It's going to be fucking hilarious. Might play some bingo again. I hope so. Phil's not there because him and his horse are out doing gallivant and whatever the fuck they're doing, spending money that he doesn't have. It's going to be a great time tomorrow. We can detox a bit. Again, Friday night, I'm going to be streaming fight nights to take that stress off piece. Saturday morning, I'm going to be building a PC. We'll always restream Phil again. Friday night, I might do a stream. I want to sit down with Peace here and maybe give him a break for the weekend. Again, I want to thank you guys for listening. I want to thank all the new subscribers. If you guys have any questions, hit me up on Discord. Send me an email. Love you guys. See you guys again soon.